It's Friday, September 2nd, 2022. Markets just closed a little while ago, and what a roller coaster ride this was. The Dow early this morning was up 370 points, closes down nearly 340 points. So it's roughly a 700-point swing right there. Earlier, the Dow was down 470, 480, recovered a little bit, closing down about 340 points. Markets across the board down today. And let's talk about that for a minute. We got the job numbers in today. Non-farm payrolls rose to 315,000 jobs in August. Unemployment sitting at 3.7%. Now, I don't know if you believe any of these numbers. I really don't. But the job numbers were a little bit better than expected. And this now is going to give the green light to the Fed to raise 75 basis points September 21st. Now, I think we're going to have the CPI around September 13th. We'll see where that comes in. That could play a role if we see 50 or 75 basis points. But as of right now, I believe we're going to see 75 basis points. And they're going to justify it with these job numbers. Look, the economy is doing wonderful. Jobs are bouncing back. People are working. And so it's a green light. And this is why I believe, I could be wrong, let me know your thoughts, why the markets were down today, because they know that more aggressive Fed rate hikes are coming. So why was the market down yet again today on the good news that people are going to work? 315,000 non-farm payroll jobs for the month of August, a little bit better than expected. Wages up 5.2% from a year ago. But if you take the inflation number that they're giving us at 8.5%, people's wages are not keeping up with inflation. Now, if we look at where some of the jobs are at, professional and business services, we added 68,000. Healthcare, we added 48.2 thousand. Retail trade, we added 44,000. Leisure and hospitality, we added 31,000. Manufacturing, 22,000. Transportation and warehouse, 4.8 thousand. Now, most people will take these job numbers as good news. Obviously, the stock market did not take them as good news, but let's break it down a little bit farther. Full-time employment collapses as multiple job holders hit new all-time high. This on the Hedge today. So we have people now working 1, 2, 3, even 4 jobs now. Now, I'm not saying they work 4 jobs in a day. People will go crazy. How can you work 4 jobs in a day? You can work 2 or 3 jobs in a day. You can work 4 or 5 different jobs in a week. And that's what a lot of people are doing right now. Part-time jobs surged by 413,000 in August, while full-time jobs declined by 242,000. This for the month of August. March, the U.S. lost 338,000 higher-paying full-time employees while gaining 335,000 low-paid part-time employees. So you can see how all this can be manipulated, that you could add 4 part-time jobs, and that's 4 jobs. People now being forced to work multiple part-time jobs. So does that really mean that the job market is good when you're getting 18 or 20 hours a week per job, when you're not getting benefits, you're not getting overtime, you're not getting opportunity to move up? Even more remarkable, according to this article, is the number of multiple job holders whose primary and secondary jobs are both full-time. This just hit another record high. And I want to ask all of you, now they're saying unemployment's 3.7%, we're gaining these jobs, but every day I look at the data, I read the news, and I see more and more layoffs. Many of you have written me that you personally have been laid off. You have family members been laid off, friends have been laid off. And this is becoming a real crisis here, and it's going to get worse. But what about all the layoffs? Ford, 3M, JP Morgan, Snapchat, Wayfair, Peloton, 7-Eleven, Remax, just to name a few. Every day it's another company laying off people. Yet, do you really believe unemployment is only 3.7%? Do you think that these 315,000 jobs are full-time jobs with benefits, well-paying jobs? Most of them are low-wage jobs, part-time jobs, jobs that have no opportunity to move up and advance. So it looks good on the outside, but down below on the foundation, these jobs are not as good as people think. Another article today from The Hedge. U.S. factory orders unexpectedly tumbled in July as war spending tumbles. Analysts expected the U.S. factory orders to grow at 0.2% month over month in July. They were way off. Orders tumbled 1 full percent. How about this one on CNBC today? 1 in 5 home sellers is now dropping their asking price as the housing market cools. What a surprise. This is going to get very interesting as we head into fall, especially winter and the spring of 2023, and how far this housing crisis advances. The median price in August dropped to $435,000. That's from $449,000 in July. The average home sold for less than its list price for the first time in more than 17 months. So it is no doubt not crashing, not collapsing, but it is cooling right now, ladies and gentlemen. And this is going to accelerate. As this economy worsens, people are going to have to sell their homes. The supply of homes is rising fast, up nearly 27% from a year ago, as the supply of qualified buyers decreases. Today, the 30-year fixed rate on a mortgage, I think, is sitting at 5.66, 5.7. I've seen it even higher, but it is approaching 6%. This means we will have less qualified buyers. This pool of buyers is going to shrink as the pool of inventory expands and surges. And nobody talks about that. A lot of people don't talk about, they just, again, this inventory shortage is over. We need to stop talking about that. We are going to see more of these new home builds coming on the market. We're going to see existing homes coming on the market. We're going to see more people getting laid off, forced to sell. We're going to see more foreclosures, more short sales. And this is going to accelerate, and we are going to see a housing crash. And I believe that we're going to see real big trouble in the housing market in 2023. But right now, we're beginning to see a lot of cracks forming, and this will accelerate throughout the year. Pending home sales were down nearly 20% compared to July of 2021. No doubt this housing market is losing intensity. It's going to lose interest, and we're going to see more people running to the exits and unloading these assets because they're decreasing in price. The overhead to carry these assets with the cost of inflation, the cost to maintain properties, people are going to get out. And when you don't have a job, or the inflation gets so out of control that your wages are just getting absolutely decimated, you're not going to be able to afford to keep a home. So this is why I've been sitting on the sidelines for a while now, waiting for this thing to really correct, collapse, adjust, whatever you want to call it, because I know that the discounts are coming. Look, I watched this movie play out in 2008. The sequel is going to be much worse. And the people who have been patient, the people who have made the sacrifices, the people who have been really open-minded and paying attention to what's going on with this economy, they're going to capitalize. And I plan to capitalize in the real estate market, buying a farm. And look, I don't wish any ill will on anybody, but I did not tell people to rush out with all the FOMO, spend $50,000, $100,000, or $200,000 over the listing price of the home. I didn't tell people to lease a $1,000 a month car. I didn't tell people to take all this money, all this free money, not pay their rent, not pay their mortgage. I didn't tell anybody to do that, and I would never tell anybody to do that. And a lot of people who took the free money, didn't pay their bills, went out, bought a car, lived like a rock star, they're now beginning to pay the price. People who did not make the sacrifices and put the preparations away for what's coming, they're going to pay a price. And I now have to look out for myself, my family, just like all of you have to look out for you and your families. And we've made the sacrifices. We put ourselves in a position to take advantage of what's coming. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Millions of Americans face eviction in coming months. Now, I didn't tell people to believe their televisions, believe their politicians, believe the economists, the financial analysts on the television. I told people to start looking at reality and start critically thinking for themselves. That's what I'm doing. That's what I've been doing. That's what people that are in my network are doing. Now, many people wanted to play video games, wanted to watch football games and basketball games and ignore reality. Well, now they've got big trouble. They're going to get evicted. But they've been told that the economy is fine. They're being told that there's no recession. They're being told that the Fed has their back. The Fed is their friend. Everything's going to be okay. Well, these people listen to the wrong people. 3.8 million Americans, according to this article, could face eviction in the next couple months. That's almost 4 million people, ladies and gentlemen, could be facing eviction. I don't know how you could sleep at night if you have kids and you could be facing eviction. You're tapped out. Inflation soaring. Eviction moratoriums and rental assistance payments have ended. Rents have continued to go up. People turning to credit cards, personal loans, all types of loans. They're raiding their savings, selling assets, dipping into retirement funds. And it's all running out. And guess what the next event is? Or the next scenario, that is people hitting the streets. Because again, if you don't have a family to fall back on, if you don't have a church to fall back on, you've tapped out the credit cards, the retirement funds, the savings, you're done. You're done. And I've been warning people for a few years now, don't let this be you. You do not want to be a victim of this economy. You do not want to be the next statistic. There are a lot of people now living on the streets who lived in a nice apartment, lived in a nice house, drove a nice car, and now they're on the streets. And they're going to have a lot of company, no doubt. Colorado utility company locks 22,000 thermostats in 90-degree weather due to energy emergency. People in Colorado were saying that their home temperatures, in their homes, temperature was hitting 88 degrees. Now, these people were part of a rewards program. Let me be very clear. So they did agree to this, but hoping that they would never face this, that the utility company would not shut their power off or their air conditioners off when it was over 90 degrees out. But being part of this rewards program, they save a little bit of money every month, but you will be the victim of this if you agree to these terms. And I think a lot of people now will probably say it's probably not worth saving $100 a month to have my power shut off for multiple hours when it's over 90 degrees outside. But there's a bigger point I want to make here. These smart meters in people's homes, people addicted to their phones, people addicted to their computers, people keeping their entire economic portfolio on a computer, access to money from their phone. We are so reliant and dependent on technology today, but most people don't understand how quickly it can be shut off. The press of a button shut off 22,000 thermostats. And these people will be fine. It was temporary, but you have to think about our dependency on digital currencies and electronic vehicles, and how easily the grid can be overloaded. And at that point, you can't charge your car, you can't access digital money because it's been shut down. Or deliberately, for whatever reason, could be shut down. Maybe, for whatever reason, you can't access digital currency because some institution said so. They have a lot of power when all they have to do is press one button. And this is an example right here. These people in Colorado, 22,000 thermostats shut off in 90-degree weather. Might not be a big deal to us, but look at the bigger picture, that they have the power with this technology to shut off your utilities. Well, they could shut off digital currency. They could shut off the banking system. They could shut off your EV. They could shut down the grid, that you cannot access your money through the banking system because it's digital. It's on a computer. You couldn't charge your EV. So this to me gives somebody a lot of power over a lot of people. So you have a very, very small group that has a lot of power over people by just pressing one button. And that's why I don't keep all my money in the bank. That's why I don't keep it all in cash. That's why I'm a big believer in gold. You know, there's people, a handful of people that just said, oh, I'm wrong for advising people to buy gold. Well, I don't advise anybody to buy gold. I just believe that it's a safe place to be, and it's what I'm doing. And I'm sharing with all of you what I'm doing. You can buy whatever you want. I don't care if anybody buys gold or silver. That's not what I'm here about. But these people seem to ignore the other message that you better have security, you better have food, you better have water, you better have a skill set, you better be walking close to God, you better be getting your body in the best physical shape that you can, you better get off the pharmaceuticals. They seem to ignore that, but they're always, you know, so induced by the talk of me saying that you should buy some gold. I also say you better put cash away. But people just want to talk about the gold. The gold. Why are you telling people to buy gold? And I understand that the people that are triggered by this, the people that are upset about this don't own gold. I understand that most of them are probably broke and unprepared. I get it. And they're lashing out. I get it because they're scared. They didn't listen. And many of them probably don't have a job. Many of them probably getting ready to be evicted. Many of them probably have their car repoed. Many of them have no assets, no net worth, and nowhere to go. And I get it. And they're scared. And so they're lashing out because they don't want you to own real assets, because they don't. They want you to fail with them. And that's really sad. It's really sad. But these were the people that ignored the warning for years. Not from me, but just from reality. You don't have to listen to me. You can just go down to your major metropolitan cities. You can go down to your shopping malls, go to your car lots, talk to your friends and neighbors. You know, you don't need me to tell you how bad things are. They're pretty bad. Many people see the tent cities, the encampments in their cities and towns now. So you don't need me to tell you that. You can see it with your own two eyes. I'm just sitting here reinforcing with all of you what you're seeing is real, because I'm seeing the same thing. And we're a community here. And I read the comments, and we're just reinforcing with one another that, hey, I'm seeing exactly what you're seeing. I understand what's going on just like you. I'm not alone. You're not alone. I'm preparing just like you. But these people who really have some kind of vendetta against you owning gold, me mentioning it, but they don't seem to have a vendetta against me mentioning food, water, walking close to God, getting in better physical shape, having protection, having a skill set. But it's the gold. So it's amazing how many people have this vendetta against God's money. Again, do what you feel you need to do for you and your family. For me, I'm buying gold. I'm stacking cash. I've got security. I'm walking close to God. I'm saying my prayers every day. Am I perfect? No, not at all. Just trying to be a better person, trying to live a better life, trying to walk closer to God every day. Because if you realize where we're at right now, and a lot of people make these videos, you know, warning you about this and that, but I find it interesting that they never mention God. There is no doubt a spiritual war taking place, and I cannot emphasize that enough. This is a spiritual war taking place. You must have God. So forget about gold, but don't forget about God. You better have God on your side, and you ask God for knowledge right now. Ask God for direction. If you really truly believe that these markets are going to collapse, housing is going to collapse, U.S. economy is going to collapse, quite possibly the U.S. dollar, that we're going to head into a depression, you better be walking close to God. And if you really believe that, you would be walking closer to God, because you understand how we're getting where we're going. This is very evil. This is very demonic. There's some very dark forces at play here. And so you realize very quickly that there is a spiritual war taking place. So make sure before you do anything, before you buy gold, before you buy food or water, get right with God. That's my advice to all of you this weekend, and I hope all of you have a great Labor Day weekend. One last thing I want to include in this article with the utility company in Colorado shutting off 22,000 thermostats. 20 million households are behind on utility bills. I've been repeating this daily now because it's a shocking number. 15,000 cars a day are being repoed in this country. You have half the country, more than half the country, 70–80% of this country living paycheck to paycheck. And we are heading into a very, very severe economic downturn. And yet there are people out there saying that everything's going to be fine. I see people in the comments going, nothing to worry about, everything's going to be fine. We just saw a 700 plus swing on the Dow Jones today. Dow Jones is almost back at 30,000. I think we were at about 37 at the height. We're almost back to 30. And think about the trillions of dollars that were pumped into these markets, and look how quickly they're falling apart because the Fed isn't there to be their friend. The Fed isn't there to pick up the pieces now. And so now we're coming to the realization that, hey, maybe these markets weren't so healthy. And yet people are still going to get suckered in believing that these are the dips. The dips have not even begun yet, ladies and gentlemen. These markets, look, I'm not saying the markets are never going to go up. Of course they are. But we're going to see lower highs and much lower lows. And these markets are going to continue a downward spiral. Not to say that we're not going to see days where they go up, but we're almost back down to 30,000 on the Dow. NASDAQ down about 1.64, 1.65% today. This could get really ugly really fast, and it's getting there right now. So be careful, be cautious. Don't leave all your money in the bank. Have money and assets somewhere where you can get to them. The system is melting down. Have a good, safe, positive Labor Day weekend. God bless America. God bless all of you. Big trouble. Big trouble is coming to America, ladies and gentlemen. And there's going to be people out there dropping $1,000, $2,000 this weekend, on their boats in Havasu, ignoring what's coming. This is not just going to affect poor people and middle class. It's going to affect everybody. It's going to affect wealthy. We are going to see massive amounts of wealth wiped out. So build up that war chest. It's a good weekend to get your preparations in order. And as I always say, if there's somewhere where you have a weak link in your preparations, take this weekend and strengthen it up. God bless all of you. Please like this video, subscribe, share it, and I'll see all of you very, very soon.